Who is the strongest Titan in the Monsterverse? Who is the strongest Titan in the Monsterverse? Now, I know you're thinking Godzilla is the strongest Titan, but weirdly enough, it's not. The strongest Titan and the king of the monsters is technically King Ghidorah, and it's really not technical once we get down to brass tacks. Now, before I explain why he's the strongest, I have to go through some debunking first, because a lot of Godzilla stans do not like this fact. Now, the first claim that I have to debunk is that Godzilla is overall stronger and more powerful than King Ghidorah because he beat King Ghidorah back in the day and put King Ghidorah in ice. Now, there's a big reason on why Godzilla isn't stronger just because he put King Ghidorah in ice. First of all, Godzilla was stronger back in the day. The radiation levels were way higher, and as you know, Godzilla feeds off of atomic energy and radiation. So he was physically stronger, and his atomic energy was off the charts back in the day. Now, even then, he still wasn't strong enough to kill King Ghidorah. He was only strong enough to repel King Ghidorah. Another thing is, we don't exactly know how the fight went. All we know is that Godzilla took the crown, and I guess that's all that matters. And like I said before, Godzilla didn't kill him, he only repelled him. Now, usually in a battle for the crown against Titans, it's life or death. Godzilla had to repel him and keep him in ice in order for him to not come right back out of the ice and destroy the world, theoretically. Another claim that a lot of Godzilla fans say is that Godzilla was going to kill King Ghidorah in the water fight. Now, Godzilla did have the upper hand in this water fight. King Ghidorah wasn't doing much damage to Godzilla, if any. But the truth of the matter is, it would have been nearly impossible for Godzilla to kill King Ghidorah in the water, and let me explain why. King Ghidorah has a healing factor that rivals Deadpool's, rivals Wolverine's. This healing factor is very aggressive, and unless Godzilla literally incinerated every single atom from King Ghidorah, there was no possible way Godzilla would have been able to kill King Ghidorah in the water. Now, I know he ripped off a head, but we all know that's literally not an issue for King Ghidorah. That's another factor too. They said, well, since he ripped off one head, that was gonna kill King Ghidorah. No, ripping off one head from the Mad Titan would not kill him. On to the next. A lot of Godzilla fans also said that King Ghidorah cheated by using the electricity from Boston in order to get the upper hand. Now, that's not necessarily true, and there's so many things to go into. First of all, that is just standard equipment. Him being able to absorb energy from things is just a thing that he can do. It's not really cheating. It's almost like saying since Godzilla has atomic breath, it's cheating. It's really not. It's just an ability that he has. Matter of fact, it didn't matter if Boston was there or not. He would have been able to drain that energy from Boston or Godzilla or another Titan. And if we're really going to talk about cheating, Godzilla had Mothra and the military and the atomic bomb cocktail to really soup him up. So no, not really. And then the last claim, Godzilla eventually killed King Ghidorah. Well, yes, that's actually true. But we also have to remember how he killed King Ghidorah. Mothra had to sacrifice herself in order to give Godzilla that power up that he needed. Also, the military had to butt in many times, giving Godzilla that atomic bomb cocktail that souped him up to thermonuclear, ambushing your enemy with a couple of other million troops. A flying butterfly isn't necessarily going to be a fair 1v1. So those are some debunkable claims that I really had to go over, considering a lot of people wanted me to answer that. And let's move on to if it was a fair 1v1. Now, here's the real reason why King Ghidorah is the king of the monsters. If it was a fair 1v1, there's a lot of aspects that would have been different. For instance, when King Ghidorah lifted Godzilla up into the atmosphere and dropped him. Now, he could have dropped Godzilla multiple times, but one thing that would have actually killed Godzilla is if he flew out into outer space. As we know, Monster Zero is from outer space. He wouldn't have a problem being out there whatsoever. Godzilla, on the other hand, would. As far as we know, Godzilla needs to breathe oxygen and water in order to survive. I don't think that he could do that in outer space. That's just one way King Ghidorah could have killed him. Here's another possibility if it was a fair 1v1. King Ghidorah could have just simply drained all of Godzilla's energy. And if he drained all of Godzilla's energy, Godzilla really wouldn't have anything to do after that. Considering King Ghidorah was strong enough to constrict Godzilla with two heads and drain him. By the time he would have fully drained Godzilla, Godzilla would have had nothing left. He probably would have been as weak as he was in 2014, if not weaker. And if I'm being honest, this isn't really the first time that King Ghidorah whooped Godzilla. If we want to be technical, he also whooped him in Godzilla vs. Kong. As we know, that is King Ghidorah's spirit controlling Mechagodzilla, and we know how that fight went. So even after death, King Ghidorah is still king of the monsters. The conclusion to this all is that Godzilla uses a hefty bit of plot armor in order to win most of his fights. And it makes sense, this is Godzilla's universe. But if plot armor was not introduced into the universe, I think that King Ghidorah is the strongest titan and would still be king of the monsters, and the planet would be overrun with a bunch of different monsters. Thank you guys for watching. Tell me what you think in the comments down below. Love you guys, and I'll see you guys later.